No one from my family showed up because I married my sister's crush. Original post. My sister and my husband went to college together. She had a crush on him since day one. He was all that she talked about. They became part of a very close group of friends, and that same year she invited him and her friends to spend Boxing Day with my family. That's where I met him. We had sex the same night and I felt horrible. My sister eventually moved on. She met her husband and she got married last summer. Under all these years, my husband and I sporadically, and one of the times he told me he loved me, but what could we have done? We tried to date other people and I tried to forget him, but I couldn't imagine myself with anyone else, and that made my relationship short and loveless. We met again officially at my sister's wedding. She had invited all of her college friends my husband and I met, and he asked me to stop running away and we started dating secretly. A year later, he proposed. Now I had to tell my family. I have never endured so much hate and isolation in my whole life. I lied to them. I told them that we met at my sister's wedding and we hit it off. I never told them how I've been in love with him for almost a decade, and that we have met at least once a year since that Christmas, and they've been the best days of my life. My sister is happily married and she just had her baby. Still, she told me she hated me and never wanted anything to do with me. My family shared the same sentiment, that I'm a horrible person. My husband told me he didn't care about a wedding if my family not showing up would hurt me. We have wasted many years that we didn't choose to fall for each other. He wanted me to be his wife. I still sent invitations to my family, but nobody showed up. Only my friends and my husband's family. I wish they could forgive me for finally choosing my happiness. OP's edits. Edit to add. I'm getting a lot of questions about telling the whole story. I don't know what more I should have written here other than this. Maybe I didn't do a good job about my sister's crush. My sister is outgoing. She's always been open with her thoughts and feelings, so her crush on my husband was a well-known thing to us sisters and mother. And it was known for the longest time. That's why. 1. If they have known about me and him going back longer than what I've said, believe me, they would have confronted me a long time ago given their strong reaction after I told them even after all these years. They wouldn't be silent if they knew something was up. Also, they were really shocked and felt that I betrayed my sister and hurt her feelings because he's an old crush and we don't date each other's crushes, let alone marry them. 2. I misjudged my sister's crush. We all knew that she was in love and that she was hurt when he didn't reciprocate. But I thought by the time she met her husband, she was over him. Now I'm not sure. 3. I haven't spoken to my sister's husband in months, but from what I've heard, he's not happy about her reaction, and things aren't going so well with them. This is also added to why my family is angry because I caused the rift between my sister and brother-in-law. 4. New edit. We are 4 sisters. I'm the second oldest, and my sister in question is the youngest. All 4 of us are of similar age and closer, were anyway, than best friends. This adds more because she feels really betrayed. 5. Yes, I have made a post before on relationship advice, and I just couldn't find it. 6. Many are saying my sister is here somewhere with her side of the story. Please send me the link because I have been searching since this morning. I really hope I filled all the missing information now. Sorry for not being clear, and I'm sorry this isn't adequate as the full story. Last edit. I'm getting DMs that my post is on TikTok, and that my sister in the comments saying that I lied and that she had in fact dated my husband for 5 years. Where is this comment since I'm overwhelmed with the amount of replies and DMs, so if some kind soul could just tag me on her comments. There's no truth to that. It's either a troll or some other OP because all the people who said that my sister has answered are refusing to show me her post. Anyway, I'm going to send an email to my family tonight and include the whole truth. It's my last attempt for redemption. If they still don't want anything to do with me, I will leave them be and move on with my life and try to find solace in my new family. Thank you all for listening. Now for the updates. Update 1. Hi everyone, I thought I could just make an update about my post since I received a lot of advice about coming clean to my family about when and how I started dating my husband. Sorry it's very long, but at least nobody can complain that I've left out some details. But before that, I want to clarify a few points. If you want the update, skip 2 paragraphs. My sister has not written any posts about her side of the story. I got a lot of abusive DMs yesterday from people who pretend to have talked to my sister about how she was dating my husband for 5 years. Not only unanswered crush, and yet nobody or could or would send me the post. One Redditor sent me something from Am I the A-hole about a lady whose daughter made an ultimatum about her choosing one of her grandchildren. That's not me. I don't have children. I only ever have written one post about this before, and it was when I sent the wedding invitations and my family said that they won't come. Of course, there will always be people who doubt my story. I always see at least 10 comments on every post ever written here about it being fake. Why are you people like this? To those people, I have only one thing to say, IDGAF. Also, many asked about the full story because my mother's reaction was so strong. I have tried to explain it in the comments. My sister is the youngest and everyone's favorite, and her crush on my husband was well known. And when he didn't reciprocate her feelings, my mom was very hurt for her sake. As for the rest, they just do what mom says since she's the matriarch of the family. I would have understood their reaction if they knew the whole truth, because I will never forgive myself for what I did. My only comfort is that before we spent that night together, my husband told me that he never liked my sister that way, and he wouldn't be with her no matter if I was with him or not. He kept saying that, and that he saw her as a sister even later throughout the years. Now to the update. As I said, many of you have suggested that I should come clean, and there are pros and cons. Pros is that it's the right thing to do, and if my sister wants to hate me, she has the right to know the full extent of my betrayal. I will never pretend what I did back then was right. I just fell for him. Is that a good enough excuse? And seeing that I still love him so many years later, it was real from the beginning. Cons is that it would probably hurt my sister even more and probably jeopardize her marriage even more if it turns out she's still hung up over my husband. So I wrote a long email to my mother telling her everything and asking her what I should do. I texted her where to go to read it. That was last night. This morning she called me and was so cold. She didn't ask how I've been, didn't congratulate me, didn't ask about my husband. She was on point and warned me about telling my sister anything. She said that my brother-in-law has moved out from their home and is asking for a divorce. So if I told my sister everything now, it will only make things worse for her. She said that I'm not allowed to contact my sister in any way and for any reason. I should leave her alone and move on with my life. She said that she couldn't believe her eyes when she read my email and how horrible I actually have been towards my sister, worse than I thought. My mom's coldness made me understand how much I've hurt my family. I apologized about everything. I apologized for my sister and for breaking our family. She said, "Is there anything else?" Fine, goodbye then. Later, my oldest sister called me. She has always been the gentlest, and she told me that she missed me and that mom told her everything. The separation between my little sister and her husband is serious. They have been fighting for months now, and he left on my wedding day because my sister was very angry and crying all day. Big sister said that they didn't want to bother me with these details on my honeymoon. I asked her if she was angry at me, and she said that none of them actually is, maybe except little sister, but that I should give it time. I've talked to my husband now about everything, and I asked him if we have messed up. He just comforted me and told me to be patient, but I don't know. Our marriage started with hardship and at the cost of one of my favorite people and her husband. I'm so sorry. Final update. Good evening, everyone. I thought I might make a new update now, but I don't think it's important enough to bother everyone, so I will put it here on my page. Many of you who are asking for more updates will see it hopefully. My brother-in-law texted me yesterday asking to see me. I agreed because I wanted to see what he's thinking and if I could help in any way. When we met, he looked tired and miserable. He had my niece with him. I broke down crying because I haven't seen her before. I wasn't sure if I could ask to hold her, but he didn't even hesitate in placing her in my arms. She's the spitting image of my little sister, so beautiful. He asked me to tell him everything, and to be honest, when I finished my story, he told me that he never liked my husband, or rather never liked his wife's obsession with him. He said that she always talked about him, followed him closely on SM, and automatically hated every woman he dated. My sister never really was in contact with my husband, and she never called, texted, or DM'd him, but she watched him closely. She commented when he gained weight or lost weight, grew a beard, gained muscles, and all while her husband was displeased and showing how uncomfortable he was with it. He asked her to not invite him to the wedding, but she insisted on it. Now he said that she was yelling that it was her fault that we met each other because she invited him. She should have listened to her husband. So now he had enough, and unfortunately he can't see a way back. He cried and told me he feels like he's letting his baby down, and I cried so much for all three of them because I felt guilty too. I don't understand why she's doing this. She had an amazing husband who adored her, and a baby she was dreaming about since we were teenagers. I asked him if he could just give her time to come out of her grief, but he just shook his head. Afterwards, he congratulated me and wished me good luck and left with my niece. I emailed Mom everything maybe she could help my sister. I haven't gotten any answer yet. Story 2. My fiance, 37 male, made me, 26 female, get plastic surgery just to get engaged. Now I want to call off the wedding, plus update. Original post. I want to clarify that no, this is not a fake post. This is my first ever Reddit post. I felt compelled to get some outside perspective because I don't confide in anyone in my personal life. No one knows I got this surgery. I'm glad I did post this, and I really appreciate everyone's feedback. I know what I need to do, but it's not easy. I will update in a few weeks. I, 26 female, have been engaged to my fiance, 37 male, for 6 months now, and we're getting married next spring. Our relationship has not been easy, and we dated for 2 years before getting engaged, and he broke up with me once in between for 5 months. Right now, I'm so conflicted. There was a time I was so eager to be engaged to him, and now I'm lost. First off, I kind of had to give an ultimatum to get engaged, to which he responded he has not proposed all this time because of something in my looks that he's not attracted to. He asked me to get a specific plastic surgery to correct this issue, and that he would pay for it, and only then he's willing to get engaged. So I went ahead and got the surgery. Anyway, we got engaged, and I could tell he's not that attracted to me because the surgery didn't really make a big difference. Doesn't compliment me, doesn't really touch or initiate things with me. He doesn't complain or bash my looks, but doesn't rave about it either. But this isn't the worst of it. I am currently in grad school, and he works full-time and makes over $500,000 a year. He is paying for the wedding and has rubbed it in my face on 2 occasions how I contribute nothing, and that I basically never have the right to complain about anything ever because he works so hard to pay for things. I complained once that I feel we don't spend enough quality time together. I just don't know if I'm making a huge mistake getting married to him. I don't want to be miserable. I am so anxious. I don't feel like he loves me. He pushes me away when he's having a bad day and doesn't talk to me. I just feel kind of neglected in the relationship, but I also don't want to be a victim and consider maybe he's right about some things. Breaking an engagement off is so embarrassing, and this would be his second broken engagement, and I don't want to do that to him. I just feel really lost. How do I go about this? Edit. Thank you all for the responses, even the mean ones that I needed to hear. The surgery I got was a liposuction of my legs from my thighs to the ankles. I've always carried weight in my lower body. He says financially successful men don't like thick women, and goes on to list all the successful men he knows and uses their women as reference. I figured he was right about this and got the surgery, and I'm still trying to lose weight because the lipo didn't make a huge difference. Also, to those that ask what good qualities he has, I initially thought he was very kind, helps the poor, and goes on medical mission trips. He's a doctor. He is funny, and we actually get along really well when things are good. And I love his parents so much, and I really feel for them. They are older and want grandkids and want to see their son married. I don't think they realize how mean he can be. I'm not going to pretend his money is not appealing. I didn't grow up with a lot of money and watch my parents struggle as immigrants. I always wanted to make sure my kids will grow up in a financially stable environment. It's not really gold digging because I'm not a materialistic person. I don't care for expensive things, just don't want to struggle like my parents did. To those who think I can get a prenup or a divorce, our culture and community is very strict. I probably shouldn't mention we are Middle Eastern, not Muslims. We don't get divorced, it's not an option in our culture. He ended his first engagement, not her. He said she became too obsessed with the wedding planning and felt like a different personality of her had come out after she secured the ring. Now for the update. Hello everyone, I did not think I would post the update so soon, but here it is. We broke up today, 48 hours after my initial post, and 1,000 plus people begging me not to get married. The wedding is off. This is how it went. He picked me up because we had our engagement photo shoot today. He has been depressed for over a month, now over a real estate lawsuit that he started. He has already been putting me on the back burner because of this lawsuit and gives me zero attention, acts like I'm an added stressor in his life. So I'm already fed up with the mopey attitude. He starts going off about how he's not in the mood to take pics today and that it's hard for him to smile how drained and unhappy he feels over the house. I literally exploded. With everything that's happened, I couldn't take it anymore. I told him I've never met such a literal man-child in my life for him to break down over a lawsuit he started. He is not fit to ever be the man, the sole provider of a family, to face real troubles of life. He has never had any real issues in his life. He is a literal man-child. I told him he never acknowledged how insane it is that I went and got surgery just for him to find me more attractive. He never recognized the care and sacrifices I've made for him. I did take ownership for letting this relationship drag out as far as engagement, after he showed me time and time how unfit he is to be a life partner. It is my fault I ignored the red flags, and I have kept hoping he would change one day. Maybe if I brought him a child, he would start to appreciate me more. Maybe seeing me as a mother, he would start to love me. I am so glad it didn't last long enough to find out. We didn't make it to the shoot, obviously. He ended up driving me back home. Sadly, we wasted the poor photographer's time. His reaction throughout all of this was very minimal. So cold, he would look down and look sad, but it looked like he was pretending. He said he was sorry and he thought I deserved better than him. He said his emotional battery had run out. This was the end of it. I gave him the ring back and told him we're never speaking again. I want to thank everyone who responded to my original post. I read every single one. I can't express how it helped me to finally come to this decision today. You guys actually saved my life. I'm not even sad, I'm relieved. I feel lighter. Thank you all so much. Story 3. Am I the a-hole for blaming someone for having kids early? Me and my friend, whom I've known since childhood, are both mothers in her early 40s. The only difference is I had my first child 10 years ago, while she had her first 16 years ago, in her 20s for those who don't want to do the math. I was and still am a career woman. I love my field and my work, and I really work with passion. My work field is also where I met my husband. I deliberately waited some more to meet the right person and have kids because above all, I wanted financial and career stability. I needed to know that I'm at a point where if I leave for a long period of time, I can pick up where I left when I come back. We had children in our 30s, and even if we're not young parents, we love it. We have enough money to give them the top-notch things without struggling or having to give up other stuff. We can work with our schedules around them and basically focus all of our attention on them because we've already achieved most of the milestones career-wise and in other fields. Because of these, my kids ended up having really great results in most of the things they tried, including school. One day while I was telling my friends about the latest events regarding my kids, not bragging, just telling like any parent who's happy for their kid, my friend said that someone like when my son was 10, he didn't have his parents always backing him up. I asked her what stopped her, and she said because of work. She told me that I wouldn't know since I have a job easier to raise a kid with what she went through is a tough young parent struggle that I couldn't understand. I told her my job is easy now because I've worked hard before and I deliberately wanted to have kids later so I could offer them the undivided attention. There were lots of side eyes and nods around the group, and the conversation died there. Later, my friend accused me of humiliating her in public and calling me an a-hole, saying I don't get to judge her decisions. I don't think I judged them, I just defended myself when she tried to downlook on me as an older parent. Am I the a-hole? Now for some comments. You are the a-hole, and I had my kid in my late 30s and early 40s, so there on your canon point of view that I'm even better. I got so much money saved I didn't even go back to work after my last one was born, and now I'm 100% there for them, retired. Reality is, parental choices are personal. There is not the perfect solution. Having kids later may be financially beneficial, but no joke, we'll be more physically tired. Kids will benefit to have you there for them all the time, but may not learn resiliency, independency. You may not be there personally, but have a great support network system. So yes, you cannot understand what she went through, like she cannot understand your situation. Her statement, "you don't understand," was, "my choice is better than yours." It isn't. It's just another valid choice. I had my sons in my 20s and daughter in my 40s, so I, from my personal experience in POV, can see both positive and negative aspects of both situations. Having children when young, obviously much more energy to do things with them. I was so creative in playing with them. We always had a great time together. Financially, of course, was much worse than now. But again, relatively young, loving grandparents partially compensated those shortcomings. Having a child in my 40s, financially much more better, so we could give our daughter much more as far as stuff and experiences than I could give my sons. Better vacations, clothes, toys, EC activities, etc. The other hand, I'm so tired also because of my health. A person in her 50s can't compare to late 20s. I really struggled to find energy to do things together, still doing it, but it's an effort sometimes, and I'm not doing things so often as I did with my sons. I could now, with all my experience in parenting, decide what I prefer. Honestly, couldn't say for sure which is better, having kids earlier or later. Edited to add. There is one more thing I didn't say because my situation is different. But having kids young, you're free when still young enough to enjoy a lot of things as an adult when they're grown up. Having kids late, you can enjoy these things as a young person. However, your financial status is worse than parents of grown-up kids. I have kids 18 years apart. The only advantage of having kids younger is the sleep deprivation of having an infant is easier to recover from. Every other way, 40 or 50, at least for my family. That's all for today. If you're enjoying this story, please like the video and share your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you.